Hi friends, and welcome to part 2 of my experiments and fun creative projects with Tonic Craft Kit number 40. Today's video I'll be showing 2 cards that I've made and also a bonus project, so make sure you stick around to the end to find out what that is. If you haven't seen my unboxing video and the first project I made, I suggest that you watch that as well. So you can see what materials I'm working with, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm always welcome to have more subscribers, more people to interact with. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my projects. Now, I'm going to include some footage that my first idea for the 2 cards went wrong. So instead of editing it out, I figured that it would be useful to leave some of that in so you can learn from my experiences. So the 2 cards that I actually produced are a little different from what I had intended, and you will see that. So see you in a mo over at my craft desk. Hi friends, so I'm back with a follow-up video to my unboxing and pivot box creation video, which if you haven't seen, it's where I created this lovely little box from Tonic Craft Kit 40. But I'm really keen to try and use the products of the kit to make some cards. So, I really want to use this glimmer paste, and I really want to use this Mica Mist, which I've never used before. But I sprayed it on the back of the craft card wallet, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It shimmers beautifully in the light. And so, I've only used Nuvo glimmer paste once before, and it was in the colour Moonstone. And what I did that time was I cut an intricate die cut panel, laid it over a card front, and then smeared the paste on using a stencil, left it overnight to dry, and then the next day I removed the stencil, and the stencil, or the stencil that I'd made from the die cut, was beautiful, as was the image through the stencil. So I'm thinking, bearing that in mind, I'm thinking that I might be able to do a similar sort of thing with some of the elements from this kit. So this decorative pattern here, which you could use on the front of the box there, which I haven't used, I just used the outer die to cut out the patterned paper. What I've done is I've gone ahead and used some craft card, so Tonic Craft Perfect craft card, to cut out 2 of these intricate die cuts. And I've put them here. I have adhered them with some Stick It temporary adhesive because so I've adhered them, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this very small spatula and try and be really careful and cover all the edges, cover the whole area on both of them, so that these will then be coloured with the glimmer paste. I can then take that off and use them on a card, but fingers crossed, if I'm careful, there should be a beautiful pattern here and here when I've removed these stencils, or stencils that I've made from die cutting. Now, because of the shape of it, I've masked off all the straight edges, but then I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to, well, I mean, I probably could, but it'd just be really tricky to try and get masking tape around all those edges. So I used this masking marker. So it's blue, and you use it for when you're colouring. instead of like using a masking paper, but I thought that it might work with this as well. So obviously I'm going to try not to get any of the glimmer paste on there, but my thinking is, because what you would usually do with this is once it's dry and you finish, you just rub it away with your fingers and it's gone. I'm not sure whether that would work in this scenario, so I might not be able to use this backing panel on another card, but fingers crossed I will. So that's my thinking. And for the other card, so once I've covered this in glimmer paste and it's dried, I want to stick them onto either directly onto a card blank or onto a panel and then onto a card blank. But either way, what I just really want to do is just spray this shimmer spray, this Mica Mist spray on this card. Yeah, so it's giving it a nice generous spray. I'm now going to move this over to one side to dry and clean up. So here we go. So the aim is to cover the whole of this, so it doesn't matter if I go over these edges, but I just don't want to go over these other edges, so I'm going to be as careful as possible whilst trying to balance that with getting even coverage, which is again another reason why I thought with the craft card it would be better, because if I'd have used a white card and there's any bits that haven't covered, then it's going to be white showing through, whereas this is craft, you know, which is sort of, when it's got all this brown and glimmer and stuff, it's sort of more akin to a gold, or the kind of colour scheme that we've been using. So I'm just going to be really careful around here and hope that if I do have any little mess ups, then that masking fluid will work. But we shall see, guys, we shall see. Crafting is an experiment, it's fun. And I think, you know, it's about not being overly precious, you know, it's an experiment. I'm feeling pretty hopeful, guys. The only other thing that could fluff it up is when I come to remove the this, because you never know. I don't know if you found this, if anyone, actually here's a big request, if anyone has found a masking tape, a low tack tape that works 100% of the time, like 100%, please let me know. Does it exist? Is there any such thing as like a low tack tape that actually does what it says on the tin all the time consistently, or not? So I'm going to turn off, I'm going to leave you with that thought for a moment, turn off the camera, do some more thinking, because, you know, while I've got all my stuff out and there's still some time, why not do some more stuff? And I'll see you again in a bit once we've made some more progress. Bye. Hi guys, so I'm back today, and this is 24 hours after the last section, and last night, so it's probably about 3 or 4 hours after I had put the glitter on and done that segment, it felt like the glitter was dry enough, or it felt like it was dry, so I carefully removed all the adhesive and removed the die cut panel, and unfortunately it pulled off some of the stenciled pattern, and also it actually broke up while I was pulling it off. So I'm not sure whether that's because I used a removable adhesive to hold the die cut down or not. So now it's the morning after. I'm going to try again and see if the same thing happens. Yeah, you can see it's sort of pulling bits off. Oh, it seems to be even worse than yesterday. Yeah, so that's, I mean, you know, we live and learn. I think that this is because I use the self-adhesive, the removable adhesive. It's adhered it down too much. I was hoping that it was just because I'd tried to remove it sooner than it was meant to. But oh well, you know, we live and learn, so that can go in the bin. Hi guys, right, so I'm back again after the initial try with the using the glimmer paste on the die cuts didn't work. I've gone for a different tack. So what I did yesterday anyway was I used the lovely Mica Mist in the kit in Crimson Velvet on an A2 and an A6 card blank. This one's ivory, this one's white. And as you can see, you get quite different effects depending on how close you hold the spray. So this one's much more subtle. I held this from higher and this one was closer. And what I've decided to do is I've cut 2 of the decorative panels from the, I think it's Opera Red, the mirror card. 2 from the Chestnut Brown pearlescent card, and then I cut some of the outline panels. I cut 2 in, I used the back of the craft card that I had ruined from the last one. I've coloured this in this marker, this Nuvo glitter marker, Fired Brick, that obviously wasn't in the kit, I just had it in my stash. But I was thinking about covering the back panel with the ruby red glitter, so you just using an adhesive and then covering that in glitter. But then when I saw the glitter marker, I thought, oh, that'll be a lot easier to do. So I think the plan is I'm going to stick these on here. I've done 2 of them. Do them like that, and then put a sentiment in the middle. And then with these, I've cut 2 panels from the maroon red, and I'm going to put the glimmer paste on that. So they'll be brown, so red on brown and brown on red, as opposed to red on red and brown on brown, just for a bit of variation. And obviously this is a bigger card, so I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to sort of go about it yet, but obviously at this point I've got my messy mat out, so I can do the covering these in the glimmer paste. But this bit, in a minute, I can go ahead and stick those down, and then have a look at using one of the sentiments from the stamp from the set. Or I also thought about maybe on this one using this really pretty decorative embellishment, and then gold heat embossing it, or heat embossing it in a different colour. So I'm sort of still kind of thinking through what exactly I'm going to do. I want to try and use as many products as possible from the kit. Obviously at the moment all I've used extra is this glitter marker, but you could have achieved the exact same effect but more glittery using the ruby red glitter included. Looks slightly bowed, so I hope that's not going to be an issue. But I'm sure it'll be fine if I just put something heavy on it, and once it's glued down. This is a great adhesive. It's pretty strong. Well, it's very strong. Dries quite quickly, but not too quickly. You get a bit of wiggle room. So this is one of my glues of preference. I'm not going to put it absolutely everywhere, but obviously the more places I can get it, the better it's going to adhere. And obviously as it's a bit bowed, I'd like it to be not bowed. But I I also don't want to put it on too thickly so that it splooges out of the intricate detailed pattern. They're such pretty dies, and I really hope that I'll come up with 2 cards that I like, that are, you know, pretty and fit to be sent out from this. Because, you know, when watching the inspiration videos and stuff from the design teams, they always manage to create, you know, different types of projects from the one kit. Yeah, that stuck down really well. That looks lovely. And I think that is a very similar effect to what you would get if you used the glitter. Put that there and then have a sentiment above, like a sentiment strip. What type of card could this be? I guess with it being like reds and stuff, it could be a Valentine's card, or it could be a birthday card. It's really versatile, isn't it? It could be anything. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll put the little flourish there and then leave a gap for like a thin sentiment strip. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, yeah, I might end up using some of that as well. But anyway, don't get distracted. So, that's where I want my sentiment. So I'm going to prime it as it's brand spanking new with my finger. And I think I'm going to go for gold. Or do I want to go for? I've got this lovely bronze, ancient copper from Cosmic Shimmer. I think that'd look really pretty actually. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah. So I can take these out and then stick them on in a bit. So first of all, for those who haven't done any heat embossing before, I'm just going to make sure this is all in shot. We must make sure that we use the anti-static powder bag or powdered tool. There's a variety of different ones you can get to make sure that the Versamark or whatever clear sticky embossing ink that you're using doesn't get in places that we don't want it. I can move these down now. Now I'm going to use a generous amount of the Versamark. And then move this to one side. Get my dedicated piece of paper, only to be used with this colour of embossing powder, and then sprinkle it on. I think I've only used this once, but it's really pretty. Oh, look at that. That looks gorgeous. Could just put another little bit of layer on. Yeah, I'm glad I've gone for that. I think that'll look really nice. So the deal with heat embossing is that as soon as you've inked it up, you want to get the powder on there straight away. But if you're doing several panels, as long as you get the powder onto the ink straight away, you can leave it sitting there for a little while. So just a little tip for you. Now I'm going to get my heat tool good and hot. Oh wow, doesn't that look pretty? I love watching it change. I think this was a really good choice actually. Oh, there's a little bit there that hasn't melted. Yeah, so I think that's a really nice choice. I think that the gold would have looked really nice as well, but I think with the copper having a sort of reddish tinge to it, it looks really nice as well. So obviously you can see that that's warped a bit. You know, it happens, it's fine, it happens. What I'll do before sticking on the panels is I'll run this through an embossing, a die cutting machine with just clean plates that haven't been used, and that'll flatten it out, no problem. So that's another really good tip for you. So the other one I can't do yet because I've got to wait for that to dry. Hi guys, so it's the next day and my 2 panels that I had covered in glimmer paste have dried fully. I've tried to remove any excess bits from around the edges, and I think that once I've stuck these on, it's going to look really pretty. You can just see that gorgeous shimmer through that lovely holographic paper. Or cardstock. So what I'm going to what my intention is to put each of these panels, one of these panels at each end, and then I'm going to use this just to say sentiment. I'm going to heat emboss that directly onto the card there, and as this card is a little bit bowed anyway, can see from having the mica spray sprayed on it, I figured I'd just go ahead and heat emboss the sentiment directly onto it and then run it through my die cutting machine to flatten it all out nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now off camera, and then I shall be back shortly with not only the finished result of this, but also the finished result of the other card and the box. I've also made a box. So I shall see you shortly, my friends. So my friends, here we are with the finished articles. First of all, we have this card, which I'm really pleased with. This one is the Ivory A6 Tonic Card Blank. And if you remember, I used the chestnut brown pearlescent cardstock to cut these decorative panels, and I used a product not in the kit, a Nuvo glitter marker in fired brick to colour the panels behind, and then I just stuck that on with liquid adhesive. You saw me earlier heat emboss this in Cosmic Shimmer Antique Copper, this beautiful flourish, and I went ahead and embossed using the same heat embossing powder from Me to You, with a cute little flower and a little heart included in the stamp kit, and then onto some ivory cardstock, and then I mounted that onto a little scrap that I had left of umber etching paper. So I'm going to hold this directly up to the camera so you can see all the glitz and glamour. It's really, really beautiful in real life. I'm very pleased with it. The second card that I've made is this one. So this is the one where I cut the background panels, and I covered them generously in the brown glimmer. What is it called? What's the name of it? Rich Cocoa Nuvo glimmer paste. So I generously covered those background panels, waited for them to dry, and then adhered the intricate panels cut from the mirror card included in the kit onto those panels. I stuck them to each end and decided to do this one as a landscape card, and instead of the antique copper embossing powder, I decided to use a detail gold one. just for something a bit different. And again, from this card, the only thing that I used that isn't from the kit is obviously the embossing powder and this Love You sentiment from Simon Says Stamp from the Really Like You collection. Because I decided I didn't want to leave it as just to say. I felt a bit of a Valentine's vibe coming from it, so I wanted to include the Love You, and the two little hearts as well are from that Simon Says Stamp kit. Again, I'll hold that up so you can see it in all its glory. It is so pretty. I really like the use of the glimmer paste underneath a decorative panel. I think it looks gorgeous. And then the bonus project that I mentioned is another little box. So this time I used the 300 GSM construction weight card for the base and the lid, and I made it in the traditional way. So the other box obviously was a flip hinge, but I made two little tags. So the one where it's got the debossed "A Gift for You" in the opera red pearlescent mirror cardstock, and the other one is just cut from the grey cardstock included in the kit, just for decoration really. And then I used some of the baker's twine included in the kit. And one of the main reasons I did this actually with the baker's twine was so that I could hide this, because I really love that flourish and I wanted to use it to decorate large proportions of the box. So I've stamped it using this slate grey prism ink pad. It's a very dark grey, so on the light grey cardstock it looks like that. But on the black cardstock, it looks black and it's much more subtle, but it's definitely there. I've used that on the front of the lid, the top of the lid, and the back of the lid. I also applied some of the stone drops from the kit to the sides, some nice big ones. And as you can see, they dry beautifully. They just add. I'm really becoming a fan of these stone drops. Actually, they're just so different to the other types of Nuvo drops. They just give a completely different effect. But if you look, you can just see the edges of the flourish poking through, so that's why I decided to add the baker's twine, as well as you know, I did want to try and use as many parts of the kit as I could. So that's what I've done, and sort of arranging it like that covers up those little bits until obviously you open the box and then you see it, which I think looks really pretty. Yeah, from both sides it looks really nice. And just in case you haven't watched the first video, there's the original box again, with the flippy top lid. So there we go, my friends. From Tonic Craft Kit 40, I have made 2 cards and 2 boxes. And there's more still I could make. I haven't even touched this beautiful red berries paper. I haven't touched the matte black cardstock, and I still have a good portion of the opera red, I think is the red mirror card. So you know, I could easily make more cards or another box using that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like and subscribe if you've not already subscribed to my channel. It'd be great to have you on board. And if you want to ensure that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, then click the bell and you'll be notified as soon as I post a new video. Which so my channel is pretty new. I started on the 1st of January. And so I've been posting around 2 to 3 times a week, so I am posting very regularly. So just to finish off, that's all from me really, other than to say thank you as always for choosing to spend this time with me. I really appreciate it, and just take care of yourselves and each other during these difficult times. So goodbye from me, and see and speak to you again soon. Bye.